welcome to our third episode. We had intended to do one a week, but we had a wee break last week, so we're back in action. And today's episode, I'm coming from a lived experience this morning with my woman group sessions and focusing on the internal dialogue in our minds and the stories that it plays on repeat, whether or not we're conscious of it. So, for example, if there's an opportunity to do a new thing, so for example, to start a challenge class with me or a women's class where you can bring your kids along, for example, and I had a few women reflect back to me that they had invited other women to come yesterday, and they all said, yeah, we'll come, cool. And then it gets to the day of, and this one particular woman was the only one that came out of the people that she was trying to get to come along. And I said, oh, I'm so proud of you for coming. And then I reflected back to these groups of people today, that when there's something new that is unfamiliar to you, so this is a great example, a fitness class, and maybe you've done no fitness for 2 years, or you've never done anything in a group environment. Notice the stories, the internal dialogue, so the thoughts that start to come in the mind, and it's generally, unless you've been practicing otherwise, gravitated towards the negative bias. So stories like, oh, I can't do that, I'm not strong enough, I'm not fit enough, what happens if I don't get along with the people, or I'm too anxious to be seen working out, whatever it might be. And then those stories then become so loud and they've become so habitual from however many years that you've subconsciously repeated those stories, that it actually is so powerful that it prevents you from doing the thing. So when the thing is unfamiliar, it's unknown, it's uncomfortable to the mind, the brain will come in and try and protect you and be like, oh, no, this is different. We don't like change. So we're just going to stay in the comfortable and the familiar, which then, therefore, you live the same life day in and day out without change, right? Because it's comfortable, it feels good. Yeah, I get it, right? But if we want to create a new story, and say one of our goals is to get fit, I want to get fit after having a baby, we actually have to choose a new thought, right? We have to choose a new thought, which then will create new emotions, which then will create a new reality, because we choose it makes us take a different action, which then will change our lives ultimately. So I was reflecting on with these women, well done, because you've made that choice to come along anyway, even when those stories are loud. And then you've done the thing, and you've realised that those stories in your mind, more often than not, were made up stories. It wasn't true what you had created in there. So then you're showing your brain something new, your body something new. So, for example, we learnt how to do a push-up. There are different options like progressions and regressions for that exercise. So you can bring your knees down. You can actually stand up against a wall and have less resistance and it be less pressure on the upper body till you progress all the way to a full push-up with the knees off. And when I say, okay, let's try a push-up, the automatic reaction for 99% is, I can't do that. I can't. What? Like, what do you mean? Me? Do a push-up? And then I say, okay, let's try it. Let's try this option here. They try it because I've given them some encouragement, right? And they actually find that most can already do one. And they didn't know because they didn't let themselves try because of those habitual stories. Then when they try, they're actually proving to their bodies and their minds that they can and that they're capable. So then they get to choose that new thought. So instead of it being, I can't, so we need to become aware of what the thought is initially. And if it is, I can't do that, then we go, no, while you're doing this, it's I can do this. I am capable. I am strong. And then they are already beginning the process of rewiring those neural pathways, which then gives that encouragement and that strength to be like, oh yeah, that's actually a new thought. And then we keep going, and then we start to rewire because you're showing yourself that you can do these things. And another really cool thing today was we did wall sits against a wall. So you're holding a squat hold, and it hurts. It is like 3 seconds in and you're like, oh, you know. And I said, okay, let's close our eyes. Turn the corners of your mouth up, because you're already tricking yourself that it's a jolly old time. It makes everyone laugh, gets them out of their heads, right? And out of the story. And then I said, okay, I want you just to close your eyes and just pay attention to your internal dialogue. What thoughts are coming in right now? What is happening here? Is there resistance? Is there contraction? Is there like, I want this to be over? And then I reminded them, okay, this discomfort won't last forever. It's not eternal. And then we practiced in the next round actually replacing the thought of I can't, let it be over, to I am strong, I am capable, I am powerful. The minute you start feeding those new thoughts in, they could do it. They weren't giving up early. They actually pushed through to the end of the round. So it's really showing yourself that you can. And like you've said many times, the body and the mind don't know the difference whether something has happened yet or not. So you have the power to choose a new thought, to show yourself and your mind that you can do it, because then you're reprogramming. And we could go deeper with the emotions and feeling elevated, different elevated states, but it's just to show the power that you really do have. And we get to take our power back when we become aware of the thoughts, because otherwise we're giving our power away to our mind, but also everything external. So it was a really good reflection and reminder for the girls to be like, yeah, I needed that. Thank you. Yeah, right. Let's go. I'm strong and powerful.
Yeah. And this basically summed up so many things about the mind. Because the mind doesn't like what's unfamiliar. Whether it's good for you or bad, it loves what's familiar. So this morning I had a client, he had problems sleeping, and I explained him, at the moment, your subconscious mind loves this pattern of not sleeping and waking up through the night, not because it's good for you or in any way beneficial, but it's familiar. Everything that's familiar is categorized as safe. But same thing as you said, you create the story within yourself. And the minute you say, I'm going to choose the story, and I say, like, maybe I can do the push-up, your mind is like, ooh, this is unfamiliar, what's happening? But then you repeat it, I'm powerful, I'm capable, I can do it. And suddenly you change that story, It's always about be aware where your mind is at, which emotions are you attaching to the thing that you're trying to achieve or where you're trying to get, What's the first feeling? Like, yeah, I can do that. I don't know how, but I'm sure I can. Or is the first reaction, no, I can't do it.
Yeah, the automatic.
The automatic response. And that's what's teaching you, this is where you are allowed to change the story, change the program. And then, it doesn't work like overnight, I'm going to tell myself once I can do it and I can. No, then it's about repetition. Whatever you repeat to your mind with emotion behind it becomes a subconscious pattern.
Yeah.
So maybe, going to a class once, makes you feel a little bit good. But if you go to a class or through a phase and you do things with repetition, suddenly you made the unfamiliar familiar, and it becomes automated. And you're like, of course,
habitual.
Of course, I like to go to your classes. Of course, I'm working out every day. I love it. I need it, because suddenly it's familiar. Your mind wants it. It feels safe, and this is what you're doing.
And the good feelings, the emotion, it's that the elevated emotion, right? So that's the key too that I've learned in the last couple of years is getting to. I like to say to my clients in the morning, first thing, we sit down, we breathe, we connect to our bodies. That anchors us into the present moment, right? Where anything is possible in the present moment when you're truly in that. There is actually endless possibilities, but I will say, okay, we're going to set an intention. So then where focus goes, energy flows. But then I say, okay, if you're not sure about what your intention is, that's okay. But how do you want to feel? That's always a question I'll say to help, get them ticking over. So for example, it might be, I want to feel strong. I want to feel empowered. I want to feel powerful, capable, confident. And then I'll say, cool. So already the fact that you've made the choice to be here is already showing yourself that you're taking those steps, actionable steps to access those emotions by, lifting some weights or even just feeling empowered or confident, being brave to be in a group of women if that was scary and gives you anxiety to just be in that social space. That's very valid too. A lot of people don't like that. It feels very overwhelming for them. But really, then we actually have a feeling of connection and community and support. So there's all these different things that you can access through those. But if we really connect to how these things make us feel during, after, then that's what gets the change as well, because the emotion, the new action elicits an emotion and then gives the change, right? So how do we, it's choosing those things that give us those really nice feelings that ultimately, right, they're giving us presence as well, because you're feeling the joy, or you're feeling I'm feeling strong, that really empowers me, that feels really good. But like you say, if you keep consistent with the thing, and sometimes consistency can be a real problem, and there's reasons why that might be happening for you. It's just choosing to remember how you want to feel, remember what that does for you, and then taking the action to be consistent, to breed the motivation. And then over time, say it's a couple of weeks, then that becomes habitual. You're not having to go to yourself, we have to do this, we've got to show up. You naturally want to, because you started to feel those endorphins and everything starts flowing. So you want that feeling more, and you're showing yourself you love yourself, you care about yourself. You want to show up in those different ways. And again, it's not to say that this is easy. The first few weeks is very hard. And everything that I've tried to rewire first 10 days, it's just like everything, those stories, the limiting beliefs or stories will get louder, and it gets so loud. And I've had experiences with the sessions I've done with you, and I'm like, after a few days, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dreaming about it. And it's just saying no. All the things like the limiting beliefs I've had about a certain thing get 100 times louder before they dissipate, but over time it starts to dissipate because you're showing, nah. So pushing through that first part,
10
not
days,
letting yourself give up, because easier said than done, yes. But that's when we do give up, because it's like, too hard, too unfamiliar. But trusting, getting through that, because change is, your brain's not knowing what's going on. You've got to give it that time, eh?
And it's really about those first 10 days, because the first 10 days, your mind is getting so loud if you're trying to change a pattern, and it's screaming because it says, whatever you're trying to teach me new, this is not safe. It's so unfamiliar. It's so unsafe. And there's the part of, not buying into the worries or the fake news, fake beliefs that your mind is trying to tell you why you can't change. It's basically, let's say, there comes a thought that says, I can't do it. Here's the art of pretending that you're already there where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Because your mind doesn't know what actually happens on the outside, what only happens on the inside. So if you think, yes, I can do it and I'm already there where I want to be, whether it's your career, whether it's your health, whether it's your mindset, whatever it is, imagine you're already there where you want to be without being there. That's what is so tricky. Your subconscious mind thinks you're already there, and its job is to turn your thoughts into reality. So suddenly, slowly, it's going to take those steps that are harder, that are unfamiliar, that you usually wouldn't choose if you wouldn't have installed this new story saying, I can do it, I am doing it, this is where I want to be.
I've really been, in the last maybe 6 months, really taking on, like, Joe Dispenza, a guy, Joe Dispenza, he talks about this, the subconscious mind and rewiring and quantum physics and all the science behind mind-body connection, emotions, creating a new reality for yourself, essentially. Rewired, it's called, this series I'm actually watching. But it's like getting into that, just how difficult it is to make that change, but then practicing the practice of getting into the state, so in the present moment, through meditation and visualization, and getting that elevated emotion. So like we've said, the mind and body doesn't know the difference. So you're imagining, visualizing like you've already got the thing, whatever your vision is, your goal is, planting that seed, feeling the emotions, like celebrating you've got it. And then if you keep consistent with it, there's no way it can't come into fruition. But it's repetition.
Gonna take time.
Yeah, it takes time.
Repetition.
It's like planting that seed. You don't get the tree doesn't bloom overnight, or but it's doing it. And even with my breath work that I do, it's the same thing. It's all the same teaching, right? It's like the emotion's got to come in as well as the idea, but you really notice when you do that work and consciously sit there every day and do your thing, how loud the stories get, the limiting beliefs that I've been replaying since I was born, or would, after some experiences. But he actually said that once you turn 35, that your neural plasticity is so hardwired from all of your experiences that it gets harder then, but it's possible. But I was like, oh no, I'm nearly 37, and I have been doing a lot of mindset work for years, but really getting into this stuff, I'm like, I notice how much resistance I have, but I really want to do it. But you're doing the mahi, but it's worth it, and it's not going to be easy. It's not like we didn't just get here like, oh, I've got such a positive mindset now. I've always been like this. It's like, no, this has taken me years of sitting and just, trying to unravel those really deep set neural pathways, essentially.
But it's true, like you said, like the brain is only telling you stories that you can't do it when you're not in the present moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you see, for example, children, they're always in the present moment. And have you ever seen a toddler who tried walking, who said after a week, screw that, I'm going to give up.
I'm done. Yeah.
I'm just going to
I'm just going to roll around on the floor.
I'm going to roll around. No, because they don't have a story that tells them, look, you haven't managed to walk yesterday or the day before or the day before, so don't try again. Yeah. No, because they're present. They don't care. They want to get up. They try it and they fall and they get up and they do it until they can do it. No one else has given up at that stage. But then the moment we're older and we created those self-limiting
and we've had
beliefs
experiences
and stories,
which cause us to,
exactly, and we're programmed by a self-limiting system and belief system. Our system is based off fear, because that sells, then suddenly we're like, I'm not even going to try the thing that I want to do because I'm scared of rejection or fear of failure.
Not being good enough.
Like that.
That's reaffirming. my belief about myself that I've created, that I'm not worthy or good enough.
To
So
do what you
yeah,
want to
so you're going to go and choose the thing, or choose to not do the thing, which then's going to reaffirm what you're thinking about you. So it's more about, as well, coming back to ourselves, the present moment. The breath is a really powerful tool to ground you into the anchorage into the present moment. And that's become a very crucial part of, before I start any session with the woman, it's like, shake up, sit down, close your eyes. We're breathing. We're breathing deep, and we're going to feel it, and we're going to feel the sensations. Yeah, it might feel uncomfortable because you're used to going fast and doing. We're here to work out, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, but first, actually, we're going to come here.
Integrate mind and body.
Yes.
Tell them what you actually want to do.
Yes.
And we want to give you 2 little tools, because it's a mega topic. We could talk about
Yes.
that for hours. But we want to give you 2 really practical, easy tools that you can do just to become aware in catching yourself. Let's say you have a worry or you have a fear coming up why you can't do the thing that you want to do. First thing, your mind automatically gives you the worst case scenario. Oh, I can't do a YouTube video with Tona because maybe people will judge me on my English, and then, just like self-limiting
What if I go
beliefs.
blank? What if I don't know what to
It's
say?
a fear of failure, if it's a fear of rejection, not fitting in, whatever. My mind gives me that, saying I'm not good enough to talk on YouTube.
I
whatever.
don't know enough, or I
First
don't.
thing I do is like, I take the story and I just turn it around, give my mind the best case scenario. What if I can help people through what I have to say? What if I can, just help people, what I actually want? And just that little thought switching around. What if people like it? What if I can help one person that listens to it? Worth it for me. I'll do it. I'll overcome my fear. And it's not that easy always, because sometimes you have that emotions in your body. They're like screaming, like, no, I'm so scared. And then you can bring yourself in the present moment and into a calm state through breath work. Really amazing.
Oh yeah.
Do you
Game
have like
changer
just
for
like
me.
a little breathing technique that we could do now, so people, when they're in their day to day and they're like, oh, I'm a bit stuck here, can just do a little breath work.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be 10 minutes.
No.
And they just be like, whew, I'm present, I feel good.
Yeah. So
Let's do it.
at any time, if you ever feel overwhelmed in your head, so then usually when you're in your head, right, you're in thought, you're in the past or the future, and you're not in your present body. So what I tell people, and what this will do also is get you into your parasympathetic nervous system. So your rest and digest, you're signaling to your body safety. You're telling your body you're safe and calm. So what you can do, you can sit wherever you are comfortable. You can be in your car. I go sit by the lake and do it. Or if I'm sitting outside waiting to do something, I'm like, oh, well, about before a walk, don't care who's looking. I'm just like doing my breath. But what you're going to do, and just to make yourself feel grounded, you can even like visualize, plant your feet firmly on the floor, right? So you're like rooted down. You're rooted to the earth. And close your eyes. If you struggle to breathe deep into your belly, which I know a lot of my clients do, they're like, they feel blocked, or they're so used to breathing into the chest, which, by the way, if you're constantly breathing into the chest, you're signaling you're in your sympathetic, so it's danger, fight or flight, you're running from a tiger, your body is not receptive, like it's unsafe. So we want to get out of that and into the belly. So you can even place your hands on your belly. When I place my hands on my belly, then I'm just showing my body, I'm holding myself, and I can intentionally, consciously breathe into my hands, which will then expand my belly. So I close my eyes, mouth closed. I breathe into my belly. So I inhale for 4. So we'll go in 3, 2, 1. So we inhale, feel our belly expand on our hands like a balloon. So 2, 3, 4. I keep my breath, I hold at the top. So I feel my belly still expanded like a balloon on my hands. I hold for 4. So 2, 3, 4. And then I exhale out my nose, and I exhale for 6 seconds. So the exhale is elongated. It's important that the exhale is longer. And then we do that again. So we inhale for 4, fully in. So fully in. into my belly first, and then it goes up to my chest, right? So I hold 2, 3, 4, and then I exhale fully. Exhale, let all the stale air go out of your lungs. And you just repeat that. 4 rounds is good. And while you're doing that, you might notice different physiological changes. So your temperature might rise a little bit, or you might get a little bit of tingling or buzzing or lightheadedness. That's all normal, it's all okay. And notice if you do get that happening, that there might be resistance or there might be fear because that feels uncomfortable. Like, oh, I'm getting lightheaded, I get anxiety, I don't want this to happen, so I shut down. Keep breathing through it, and then you're showing yourself that you're safe, you're okay. Remembering, like, doing breath work, no one's ever died from breathing like that, you know? You're not going to die from doing deep breaths into your belly. So it's like allowing yourself, telling yourself it's safe to take up space as well. You're allowed to. If you've ever had a belief of like, I've got to be quiet and small and I can't use my voice, it can be challenging to like let yourself expand. It's okay. Thinking about too, so that can take you 2 minutes to do 4 rounds like that. Instantly, you're coming into your body. And another good way is to go feel, maybe do 4 rounds of that first, and then just return your breath to normal breath. So in through your nose, out through your nose. Just still breathing deep into your belly, but trying not to control it, just letting it flow as it is. And just scan your body with your eyes closed. So when your eyes are closed, you're in your body, you're free from distraction externally through your eyes. And just scan your body. Like, what do I notice through my head? What do I notice behind my eyes? Is it heavy? Do I feel heaviness behind my eyes? Okay, maybe that's signaling to me I'm a bit tired. Can I relax through my jaw, my tongue? Neck and shoulders, is there like a lot of pressure on my neck? Does it feel like there's a weight of the world on my shoulders? Did I sleep well last night? Scan, scan, scan. Am I tensing in my belly? Am I trying to suck in because I've been told I need to do that because I've got to have a flat stomach, whatever the story is? Can you let go through your tummy? If you're standing up even, are you clenched, or right now, are you clenching your butt cheeks? Are you clenching your glutes because there's tension? Can you let that go? So we hold so much emotion, and the stomach, the emotional seat, center. Can you let that go? Can you release through the hips? We hold emotion there too. Letting go, scanning the thighs, scanning through the body, through the calves, the shins, the feet. Then you're just really asking, what am I feeling? Is there pressure here and blockedness? Does it feel stuck? And then here, does it feel like it's flowing? So it's just paying attention. And then you get to ask yourself the question, what do I need? What am I feeling? But not until we what do I want? What do I need right now? And if you're not used to sitting with yourself, even for 5 minutes, that can also feel uncomfortable as shit. You might be like, shit, my mind's busy. There's lots of stories going on in there. I've got a monkey mind. Yes, this is true. But the more you choose to sit with yourself and just with your breath, just even breath awareness below the nostrils, above the upper lip, feeling what sensation. So you inhale, you might notice the temperature change. So you feel it's cold, cooler when you inhale. When you exhale, it's warmer. That's a subtle change that's always going on. But then you get to calm your mind by focusing on that present moment. Yes, thoughts are going to come in. It's going to distract you. I mean, you might start thinking about what you're doing for dinner or whatever. That's normal. But the minute you become aware of that story and the thoughts taking you out of the present moment, we bring it back to just here. And it's practice, and it's back and forth, mind, body, But the more you practice like this to tie this all up, practice becomes habitual, it becomes easier, the stories get quieter in the mind, and you actually start to become aware quicker. Then you can have your own back and support yourself so much easier, because you're like, oh yeah, I know what this is, like now I can go, oh, mind, yeah, I know this story, but no, we're not doing that now. Nah, I can do this, shut up. Be quiet.
And I think simplicity is the key.
Yeah, not overwhelm.
But it's about repetition, catching yourself during the day, like, wait a minute, this is not feeling good, my mind is giving me a story. I don't want to live that story. So first, no mind, I'm giving you a different story, what I actually want. So I quickly think about best case scenario. How do I want my day to turn out? What do I want to create or achieve? Not thinking about worst case scenarios and worries. And then at the same time, because sometimes it's too much, you can't win mind against the mind, then you're constantly stuck in your thought. Then you're like, you know what? I'm just going to bring myself back into the present, back in the
With
body.
breath like that,
through the
couple
breath.
of rounds, deep
exactly,
breaths.
just
Yeah.
a few minutes, long deep breath, because it's not about doing 10 different things and
No,
journaling
because it's
here
overwhelming
doing
and you're
there.
like, then you
No.
can't adhere to it.
Do one practice
Yeah.
that you can be consistent of and that brings you back into your body.
Yeah.
So become aware where your mind is at, snap back into your body, into the present,
Breath,
make it a
anchor point.
habit, make it familiar, and watch the magic unfold.
And if you need help with this, we both can assist you. So reach out if this feels overwhelming, you don't know where to start.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we would love, 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 love to support you.
Yeah, and we support everyone everywhere, online or in person. If you're not located in New Zealand and Wanaka, we work with, all over the world.
Yeah.